The terms Tartar and Mongol are often used interchangeably, but historically, they referred to different groups with distinct identities and origins. To understand the differences, we need to travel back in time to the vast steppes of Central Asia, where nomadic tribes shaped the course of history. The Mongols were a powerful confederation of nomadic tribes that emerged under the leadership of Genghis Khan in the early 13th century. They hailed from the region we know today as Mongolia. The Mongols were known for their ferocity in battle, their disciplined military tactics, and their remarkable ability to conquer vast territories. Under Genghis Khan's rule, they carved out the largest contiguous empire in history, stretching from China to Eastern Europe. However, long before Genghis Khan unified the Mongol tribes, the Tartars were already a significant force in the region. The Tartars, also nomadic people, lived in the Eurasian steppes alongside the Mongols, but they were originally separate. Their name was derived from the Tatar tribe, one of the many groups inhabiting the region. The Tartars were fierce warriors, similar to the Mongols, and were part of a complex network of nomadic tribes that often engaged in conflict with one another. The Mongols, under Genghis Khan, viewed the Tartars as rivals. In fact, one of Genghis Khan's earliest campaigns was against the Tartars, who had previously betrayed and killed his father. Over time, as the Mongol Empire expanded, the distinction between the Tartars and Mongols began to blur. Genghis Khan's campaigns decimated the Tartar tribes, and many were absorbed into the growing Mongol army. However, as the Mongols continued their conquests into Russia and Europe, the term Tartar began to be used by the Europeans to refer to all Mongols and their allies, regardless of their actual ethnic identity. The Tartars, in the European imagination, came to symbolize the Mongol invaders. This confusion persisted, and for centuries, the words Tartar and Mongol were used interchangeably in the West, even though they referred to different groups originally. Despite this, some differences remained between the two groups. The Mongols maintained a strong sense of unity under their Khans and their shared cultural heritage, while the Tartars, after being subjugated, eventually developed distinct identities in different regions. In particular, the Crimean Tartars, who formed a powerful Khanate in the Crimean Peninsula, played a significant role in the post-Mongol period. They were part of the Golden Horde, the westernmost segment of the Mongol Empire, and their influence lasted for centuries. Another key difference lies in their legacies. The Mongols, as conquerors, left a more unified and lasting impact on world history. Their empire facilitated trade across Eurasia, connecting the East and West through the Silk Road. They also left behind a formidable military tradition that influenced the tactics of future empires. On the other hand, the Tartars, after the fall of the Mongol Empire, became more localized. In places like Russia, they assimilated into the local population and formed distinct cultural communities, such as the Volga Tartars. One of the most notable encounters between the Mongols and the Tartars was during the Mongol invasion of Kievan Rus. The Mongols, under the leadership of Bata Khan, defeated the Slavic princes and established dominance over the region. The Tartars played a key role in this invasion, but they were now part of the larger Mongol force. This campaign led to the subjugation of much of Eastern Europe, and for centuries, Russian princes paid tribute to the Mongol Tartar overlords. In the Russian mind, these invaders were all considered Tartars, despite the fact that many of them were Mongols. As the Mongol Empire fragmented, the legacy of the Tartars evolved in different regions. In Central Asia, the descendants of the Tartars and Mongols blended into the populations of modern-day Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and other nations. In Russia, the term Tartar persisted as a way to describe various Turkic and Mongolic peoples who lived in the region. The Crimean Tartars, as mentioned earlier, formed their own state and remained a dominant force until they were eventually absorbed by the Russian Empire in the 18th century. In conclusion, while the terms Tartar and Mongol are often used interchangeably, especially in Western historical narratives, they represent different groups with unique histories. The Mongols, under Genghis Khan, were the unifiers and conquerors of a vast empire, while the Tartars, once rivals of the Mongols, were absorbed into their empire and later formed distinct regional identities. The conflation of the two terms by Europeans has contributed to centuries of confusion, but understanding their distinct origins helps clarify their roles in history. The Mongols' legacy is one of empire and conquest, while the Tartars, though once formidable, ultimately became part of the broader fabric of Eurasian history, leaving their mark in regions like Crimea and Russia.